Today we are taking a look at a very interesting node. It's called a signal node, and it basically animates your object based on procedural noise, Boolean noise to be very specific, and a trigonometry system. So let's quickly get into it. So I'm going to start off with my cube here, and let's quickly create our mesh. And with our mesh, I'm going to go to my distribute and set it to grid. And let's maybe increase the subdivision. Let's not have more clones in our Y. And I think we'll keep it somewhere like this only. Let's keep it 9 by 9. Right, so we have this small grid. I'm gonna just shrink this whole thing just so it's a bit more easier for us to process. And look, I'm going to go to my mesh. Let's go to mesh, and here you can see signal node. This is a very interesting node. Trust me, you'll like it. And as soon as you apply this is just like random node, but it has animation and all the noises applied to it. So when you randomize anything with a random node, you'll get the same parameters for position, rotation, and scale. If I just turn this off, you'll notice that you have the same thing. If you look at this, if you turn on signal, you'll have the same thing, that you'll have a way to randomize your position, your rotation, and obviously the scales and everything. But if you play this, you'll notice that nothing happens because it's a still thing, it's a still node. So what you can do here is, if you go to your signal, if I turn this on, the first thing that you'll see is the signal type, where it utilizes this 4D noise, which is a Boolean noise. And you also have a lot of different options for, as I said, trigonometry and so on. And obviously you can change the transformation space from world to local and so on. So first thing that you'll notice is that the position has been already manipulated. You have 1 on your X, 5 on your Y, and 1 on your Z axis. So if you play this, you'll notice that it's already the algorithm for this is already being animated. So unlike random, you have a node built in with animation which runs on 4D noise and other type of noises. So when you change something, let's say I'm going to keep this to 1, 1, and 1, and you'll have this subtle animation. So now let's try to make this a little interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have maybe like 5, and instead of having noises spread out on the X and Y, X and Z, I'm going to keep this only limited to Y. Now let's go to rotation. So we can obviously add some rotation, but I'm going to keep it to 0 for now, because I think there's something important I want to show you first, and that is the noise setting. Now if you increase the octave stands for the amount of quality of your noise. So if you increase this, you'll have more good quality of your noise, let's say a sharper noise. If I just want to give you an example, if I take a noise here like this, you'll notice that the octave is set to 1 and it looks something like this. When I increase the octaves, you'll notice that the noise gets better and better. It gets more complex. You have sharp edges and so on. And if I just want to show you a darker version of it, you'll notice that we have the whole ridges and everything. Similarly, when you change the octave on your noise setting, you'll get a sharper noise, thus resulting in different type of animation. Since you have more faster noise or more detailed noise, your objects are pretty much picking up on all the details. So apart from that, you have the persistence, which is just like a threshold for your noise, and then you have the trigonometry settings. This is quite interesting. As you can see, we have a step amount that has been set to 150, and you're getting this animation. You can change the step amount, which we are going to be using to create something interesting. Then you have the noise scale. It is the same thing as you do to your noise. If you increase the amount of scale, you'll get the smaller pattern. The more amount of noise you have, the bigger pattern you're going to get, and if you want the small pattern you're going to get, and if you reduce the size, you'll get big patterns. So similarly, imagine the same noise in just 3D space. So you have the noise scale, and then you have the multiplier for obviously the scaling, and then you have the time scale. Let's say if you want to slow down the whole thing, you basically reduce this and you'll have a slower animation. Now coming back to the step amount, why this is interesting is because if you'll notice that you are getting different levels of noise applied onto your object. If I reduce this to, let's say I want to like really see the whole noise thing, now you will see that we are starting to get something. I'm going to reduce this even more to maybe like 1. Alright, there you go. If I play this now, you'll notice that we get something like this. I'm going to change the color of this just so it's a bit more easier for us to see. Alright, and there you have it. Now we have something like this. Now what I'm gonna do is, let's quickly go to our cube and maybe let's change this to 0.5 and 0.5, and I'm going to increase more subdivision here, maybe like 50 and 50, just to fill the whole area. And I think I mean 10 is fine, I believe. Okay, let's keep it to 12, something like this, or maybe like 10 is fine. 12 and 12, yeah. Right, let's go back to signal, turn this on, and now you'll notice that we do have some gaps. Let's eliminate this. So I'm gonna go even lower. I'm gonna go to something like 0.7, or let's say maybe 0.2, and let's play it now. Now we have something that looks like this. Let's go even lower, and now you have something that looks like this. Alright, so as you can see, we have a little bit faster noise. I'm going to reduce the speed of this just to get an organic look here, and there you have it. Now you have something like this. Alright, so again, you can reduce the amount of time scale, you can reduce the amount of noise just to get more organic look, and now you'll be able to see this, and you can increase the amount of position Y to get more out of this. So just don't apply like X or Y, then you'll have this stretchy looking, although it's not looking that bad. You can keep this if you want, and let's try to add. So now we can come back here, and now according to our animation we can try adding our rotation, and that we will have that something that looks like this. And let's maybe just change the scale of this to a very thin layer like this, and let's go back to mesh, and maybe let's try a different rotation. Alright, there you go. And let's play with noise a little bit. So what we can also do is we can initially create some kind of spaces between, like create some gaps. So I'm going to take an offset node, and let's maybe, we have already talked about what offset does, so I don't think I have to explain it, but we can just simply change the scale to -5, and in our signal I can change this to a +5. That will just like fill the whole area. Let's maybe keep it to +5 for now, and let's see how much it's filling the area. Maybe let's go to 1. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it to 1.5. Yeah, there you go. So now we have something that looks like this. So it's a pretty organic looking animation. You can add a bit of animation to this if you want to have cyberpunk looking animation and stuff, and you can see how it moves around and everything. I think it's better if we add more clones to it. So I'm gonna go for something like maybe like 50 and 50. Yeah, there you go. Now it's amazing. Anyways, so apart from that, what else can you do with your mesh? I'm gonna reduce this to maybe like 5. So with this, what you can also do is when you're changing the noise, you can obviously change different type of noise, how you want to have this, and you can increase the time scale to have a faster animation. You can change a fractal Brownian motion, and then you have the trigonometry. The nice thing about trigonometry is you can change the way it behaves using the mathematical functions, which is your sine, cos and tan. You can change how they behave using this. There you have it. And if you plan to use 4D noise, what you can also do is you can change the amount of strength and everything, which is pretty much the same on all the noises, all the nodes and everything. And again, you can take your fall off if you want to create this organic animation on a certain part or something like this. You can do something like this. Go back and take your follow, and you can set key on your translate, and around 90 I'm gonna move this all the way here, and let's set key. So now you'll have this organic looking animation only where you want the fall off to behave, and you can change the scale and everything. So there you go. I'm going to increase the scale. So yeah, so this was what basically Signal is. It's a pretty interesting node. I mean, when you want to use or randomize something, but you want animation, some kind of, or like, let's just say if you want to create a lot of different particles and you want them to move around, you can obviously randomize them, but you can't have that animation of them slowly floating through the environment. So you can use Signal to create that kind of effect. So anyways, have fun with Signal, play around with it and show me what you come up with. Alright, that's it, and I'll see you in the next video.